Hello, good morning, everybody. Welcome to a session of Virtual Spiritual Saturday. And today we're going to do another book reading on Conversations in Love by me. Well, technically not really by me. It's a collaboration between myself and Rinpoche in a sense that there'll be for each chapter, there's a little section that is from Rinpoche's teachings. And then there will be a conversation, and that is my writing and my imagination of four people. And you will see that there are four people right now live. I've muted them right now. You will hear them later. There's myself, and that's why you see strange names. Okay, where my finger is pointing is my name. Okay, this is my name, and this is my character's name. Same thing for, the other side. This is Stella. Stella is the character that Wang is playing. Lishan is the character that Cindy is playing. And Brandon, wait, where's my finger? Okay, my finger is here. This is Brandon. Brandon is Pastor Neral. All right, so without further ado, today we are, last week, we read the chapter 1, which is an introduction. I gave you a background of the book, what was the basis of it, and then it was actually Rinpoche's instruction in short for me to come up with this book, and also. I guess it was, Rinpoche didn't explain, but I understood because it was more appropriate for me to be speaking as a lay person about such matters than Rinpoche as a monk. But Rinpoche had a lot of experience, much more than me or any, of counseling couples with relationship issues. So a lot of his experience of counseling people according to the Dharma, according to practicality, according to Rinpoche's basically Rinpoche's idea about relationship is to bring people together rather than separate them. So all that he had experienced in counseling people has been put into a set of teachings that is in a form of vows that he gave to a couple, a newlywed couple, based on his experience to help bring the couple together, to overcome issues. So this will be covered in each vow, will be covered in each chapter. Okay, without further ado, let's get into chapter 3. Because chapter 1 is introduction, so chapter 2 was read last week. Today is chapter 3. Oops, I lost the page. Hold on. Okay. Last week we covered love and fidelity. This week we'll be covering love support system, which is a vow: I will support you in all difficulties. All right? Here it goes. You should never feel tired to console or support your partner, husband or wife. You must not let them feel abandoned and let them feel that they are alone with their problems, or let them feel that you don't support them in their difficulties. When they have difficulties, you should be the first one to step up to them, to be there for them, to listen to them, to talk with them, to hear them out, and to support them. However, there will be times when you cannot help or solve their problems and difficulties, but you can give them a moral support by just being there with them and going through the difficulty with them. Sometimes all you can do is just sit by their side and give them relief by smiling, holding their hand, or making a cup of tea, or even making your partner a nice meal. You should want to let them know that you are with them when they are going through this difficult time. If you can do that, you will quickly see how it makes a huge difference in your partner's life. After all, that is what a real relationship is all about. Making a positive difference to the life of another. All right, we have Sharon Ong and Jillian. Good morning. Okay, I'm going to change the view first so we're all equal, and then I'm going to unmute them, and then we're going to start the reading. All right, and Guys, I will read also the caption. No, not the caption. There's sometimes in between that tells you the narrative. The narrative caption. Okay, wait, let me unmute. Pastor Neral, Yishan, Cindy, and Stella. Okay. Stella, hold on. Stella, Lishan, and Feng attend a funeral at the Nirvana funeral parlor.
Hey guys, thanks for coming. I appreciate it very much.
No worries. My condolences to you for the loss of your uncle. Let us know if you need anything.
My condolences to you too. Stella, you don't really need to worry. Look at him. He's bored to death and he must be glad that we came to keep him company.
I can see that.
Hey, give me a break. I don't really know this uncle. It's not as though he ever wanted to talk to me when he was alive. Ever since he found out that I was dating his colleague's son 5 years ago, he never spoke to me again. Though I suppose the good thing is, he never told my parents about it, and he never confronted me either. He was strange in that way, but he obviously didn't like alternative people very much.
Who is that good-looking guy over there? He looks like one of your friends.
How do you know that he's one of my friends?
Well, for a start, he's dressed too well to be one of your family members.
I hope he's not your boyfriend.
Well, what's wrong if he is my boyfriend? You must be jealous that I have someone, or are you just plain homophobic?
Get with it, Fong. This is the 21st century. Why are you so threatened by gay men? Does that mean you are...
Gay? He must be gay. He's always picking on Brandon. Perhaps there's something more to it. Freud might have a lot to say.
No lah. Just because I'm uncomfortable with the idea doesn't make me a faggot. I'm definitely not homophobic. Don't get me wrong. I'm just speaking my mind. I accept Brandon for who he is, and I don't really have any issues about his lifestyle. So don't get too sensitive about this, okay?
Faggot. I hate that word. It rhymes with maggot, and that is really disgusting. You are really disgusting.
Look, you really got to calm down. People are looking at you right now. I'm sorry, all right? I didn't mean to piss you off. Ishan, you know I didn't mean it that way, right? Please tell him.
Sigh. Brandon, just ignore him. He's not worth it. Besides, you have your nasty relatives to attend to, and you don't want every single one of them to ask you what happened, do you?
Yes, and you don't want to be heard screaming faggot and maggot at your uncle's wake. What would your relatives think of you? Forget about this, idiot. Let's go outside and have a puff. Everything will be all right.
Yeah, let's do that. I can't stand being with my aunties and uncles anymore. I need some space.
Yes, let's go for a fag. A puff. All four of them walk out to the veranda and sit down at a coffee table. Everyone except Lishan takes out their packs of cigarettes and starts puffing.
I'm sorry I threw a fit just now, guys. I was just in a terrible state of mind when you all came. I was trying my best to remain calm, but I lost it.
Sorry, man. I didn't mean to be so annoying, but that's how I usually talk. I don't recall you ever getting so worked up by the things I've said. Your reaction really took me by surprise. You look a little agitated in the beginning. I presume you must have been affected by your uncle's funeral.
Was it the funeral? I thought you were just bored.
It sounds like something other than the funeral is bothering you. So what is it?
Sigh. It is Albert.
Who's Albert?
Is it the sulking pretty boy over there?
Yeah, that's him. We're sort of dating, but he's really nasty. There was a time I had to cancel lunch with him, and he threw a fit. I told him that I had to attend my uncle's funeral, and he asked me why I couldn't have lunch with him first. I'm like, what's the big freaking deal if I cancel lunch? You know, lately, I've been busy with my salon and all, so I couldn't see him that much, and so I asked him to come to the wake. Big mistake. He's sulking, and everyone is asking me what's wrong with him.
What an idiot. He's like a big baby dressed in a man's suit.
He sounds like an ex-girlfriend I once had. I don't understand why, but most pretty girls I date are like that.
He does sound very childish. I guess good-looking people think they can get away with murder just because they look good. It's just as well Steve has his attractive personality.
Steve is adorable and a real sweet guy. You are damn lucky.
It's said that Albert doesn't understand the situation you are in. I'm sorry, but he wouldn't make a good long-term partner for you. When you have problems, he doesn't exactly seem the type that would be there for you. He's too caught up in his own world. It's really sad because there's a very lonely place to be. No doubt he will have lots of sweeter, but good looks have a lifespan. When he's old and wrinkled, what is he going to do?
Yeah, man. Pretty girls are just too much to handle. The best are whiter than white types who are sickly sweet and overly nice. You know what I mean?
Feng, you deserve all the pretty girls to mess you up. Haha.
No thanks. I'd rather date you.
Oh, that's interesting.
I knew there was something going on between the two of you.
No lah, there's nothing going on between us. That was just a desperate statement as his little black book is running out of girls to date.
That's a thing of the past. My little black book is full of business contacts and appointments now. I've got to work my little ass off to pay my condo loan.
That's good. Anyway, how's your auntie? She looks quite haggard. He must be really sad. I hope she's all right.
Her children are doing their best to console her. I think everyone is in shock. His sudden death came as a surprise to everyone. Nobody expected him to have any health problems because he jogs and exercises. He is such a health freak, so his death really came as a huge shock.
Oh dear, life is so uncertain. On that note, we better go for our yearly health checks just to be sure, especially for you, Feng. Guys are more susceptible to health problems, or so I've heard.
You forget Brendan. He's a guy too.
Yeah lah. We might be sisters, but that doesn't mean that I'm not a guy.
Everyone bursts into fits of laughter.
I think we should cut back on the comedy for now. I don't want my family to see us laughing when everyone else is mourning.
Yes, you are right.
Sorry, it was just too funny.
Okay, so what's your auntie like? She seems like a very nice lady. I feel so sorry for her.
Yeah, she had always been nice to me. Her husband wouldn't talk to me, but she would still talk to me. When I was in school, she would always give me more ang pao money than other relatives during Chinese New Year. I love her very much. She's also very loyal to her husband.
That's nice. She reminds me of my mother. She's like that too.
Years ago, when there was a family dispute between my uncle and his in-laws, my auntie sided with my uncle. Her whole family wasn't happy with her for a while because of it. I can't remember what it was all about, but it was probably over something really petty. They are one of the most loving couples I know. Everybody respects her for that. They had a really loving relationship, the kind you see in the movies.
That's really sweet. Do they have kids?
They have 2 boys. One is in college and the other is still in secondary school. I used to play computer games with them until my uncle found out about me.
He's probably afraid you would touch them or worse.
What could be worse than that?
Well, he could turn them into flaming homos.
You win, that's worse.
I'm insulted. What's wrong with being gay? And by the way, I can't just wave a gay wand and change any boy into a homo. They must either think I'm very powerful or I'm very attractive.
Neither.
Agree.
All this gay talk is getting too much for me. Let's go in and have a snack. I need a cup of coffee.
No snacks for us since we're all watching our weight. Though coffee would be delicious. I believe I am speaking on behalf of all the girls, right?
Coffee? Yes.
Coffee and a few spring rolls, please. I'm hungry.
Alrighty, 4 coffees and a plate of spring rolls coming up. You girls better not gossip about me behind my back, okay?
You think you're such a big shot celebrity, huh?
Fung enters into the funeral parlor in search of coffee and snacks.
So, Li Shan, what do you think of Feng?
Oh no, here we go again. I'm not into Feng. He's cute and all, but I'm really not into a relationship right now. I just want to enjoy being on my own for now.
Brandon, I already went through this with her, and she is afraid to be hurt again. She didn't say anything, but I know. Is her self-defense mechanism kicking in? After several failed romance, it makes a girl tougher. So this may not be a bad thing.
Well, I know everything about failed romances. I am just a conked out Casanova. Just look at me and look at the guy over there. I'll allow you girls to roll your eyes. I won't be offended. But then, I'm not the main star here.
So who is the main attraction here?
Well, the star doesn't want to be the main attraction, so what can I say? I take over and I become the star.
Yeah, you can have him. Maybe he's really into men after all.
He is not gay. Why don't you just sleep with him and be done with it? There's nothing wrong with that. Just make sure you use a condom so you don't get unwanted babies popping out of your stomach.
Brandon, that is a very bad idea. It will ruin everything. Stop giving back advice. You are supposed to be a good sister, I think. Risan, you should just take it easy and just watch and observe Fong a little. You don't have to get yourself into anything just yet. Just watch and see.
Whatever. I hope the two of you guys have enough fun playing matchmaker. He's walking back right now. Shush, girls.
Fung walks out into the veranda with 4 mugs of freshly brewed coffee and a plate of spring rolls. Everyone's looking a little nervous, like you have all just taken part in a police lineup. What have you been up to, eh?
Nothing. It's all girly talk, and you're not privy to such private matters.
Haha. Okay. Not sure I get the need to be so secretive, but I will respect your privacy.
Good.
But I hope it's not another guy you are seeing.
So what if there was another guy?
Well, I was just wondering. Well, I'm just curious.
Is the green-eyed monster coming out of hibernation?
Brandon, that's enough. There's no other guy in the picture. This is getting too much. I'm not seeing anybody, and I don't plan to see anybody just yet.
All right, there's no need to make a big fuss about it. I'm fine. Let's just have coffee, like normal people, okay?
That sounds like a plan. Sorry, guy.
Stella looks at her watch and realizes that she has to go.
Sorry, guys, I have to go.
Why? You're not allowed to go. Stay right where you are until I grant you my permission to take leave of my presence.
I'm sorry, but I have to go with Steve to see his sister-in-law for well. It's a long story. I will tell you guys another time.
Oh no, that means Li Shan and Feng are going to leave too.
That's right. It's time to go home. Good luck with Albert.
Yeah, you can't just leave your family there all by himself.
I suppose so. It's hard being so fabulous and in demand, but it's all a burden I must bear. See you all later. Thanks for coming.
Okay, the end. Thank you for you guys for reading, and I see a lot of people on. I see Jillian, Yvonne, Doreen, Eric, Brian, Christine. Good morning to you guys. I won't say good evening, but it's morning. And we just read a chapter of Conversations in Love, chapter 3, and it's about what? Love support system. So if you have any questions or any thoughts about what we have just read, please let us know. If you're outraged, I was a little nervous when we were reading it, but at the same time, yeah, I guess everyone here is adult. Hello, Biling. Good morning. So I think it's okay, So, but the main thing about it is being supportive for one's partner. Because when we get into a relationship, I think a lot of you guys are very much more experienced than me, but when you get in a relationship, we tend to like to nag. We like to, when we see our friends, we like to complain about, my husband is like this, my girlfriend is like that, my wife is like this, blah 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 blah. We go on and on. So that's fine, but you see, sometimes it leaks back to your partner, and that's not so fine, because they will feel like, that's how you see me. So I mean, these are the thoughts that came to me when we're reading. So as a partner, we should be more supportive, right? And especially when we are down. I think Rimshi mentioned something about when we are down meaning when we are we're going through some work stress, maybe for some parents, for some newlyweds, new parents, what do you call it? Is that a word for it? Like newly parent, like just got their first child, and then there's a lot of stress involved, especially for the mother who has to go through the whole period of pregnancy carrying the child, right? So there's a lot of stress. Sometimes the father doesn't fully understand. Sometimes they do, but so during that time, you have to be more supportive. And there are times where being supportive, Rimachi mentioned, it's not about saying anything. It's about being there. It's about, Rimachi said, holding the hand, hold hand, or hold hand, make a cup of coffee, sometimes do the cooking, do some housework. It's a show of support, isn't it? I'm just rehashing what Rimachi had said regarding this, and I don't know. When I wrote this, I thought I brought the point across, but when we were playing it, it was kind of distracted with a lot of. It's not like the romance between Lishan and potential romance with Lishan and Brandon, and also about the the sexuality thing, but I think the main point of the whole skit is about the example of the uncle and in-laws and stuff like that, Pastor Nara, help!
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add to? Everybody is quiet. All that they say is hello, hello, everybody. I'm just keeping it very casual. Sorry. Yeah.
Anybody online who's watching? Anybody have any questions? Okay. Just to add to what Pastor David was saying, I think when we're in situations, okay, when you go through situations in life, there's going to be times when you yourself are going to be open to having people talk to you or comfort you or be your support system. And there are going to be times when you're not. This also applies to your partner. So as Rimiji said, there can be times in your life where you are able to be your partner's support system and they're open to it. You can sit with them, you can talk to them about what is happening, what's going on, how they're feeling. Find ways together to get over and through that particular situation. But there will also be times when your partner may not. And be so open for whatever reason, emotional, mental, whatever. So it's at that time, Rimchi said, as Pastor David mentioned, just be there for them. Hold their hand or make them a nice meal or even get them a cup of tea. They might not be in a position to be able to talk about what they're going through, but you just need to let them know that you are there for them. And that itself becomes the support system that they need to overcome any sort of situation or problem that they may be going through. So I've got Yeah,
We've got a question. We've got a question here from Doreen. So, how does Dharma plays a role in this? Would you like to share? Anybody or? But generally, I think let me answer this first. Generally, I think that in Dharma, what happens is we are encouraged to view someone, whether it's a loved one or anybody, any being actually, positively, because because we in such a way that I mean the general way of all sentient beings is your mother, meaning to view them positively, like they've been kind to you, so you're repaying that kindness. So even as a loved one, it's the same thing. You know, we do have to. So in other words, when we come to our partner, it'd be scary to view her as a mother, but still, as a partner, as a spouse, as a husband, a wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, right? What happened is they've been kind to you. So it's about repaying the kindness. It's about focusing on the kindness, because sometimes we prefer to focus on the unkindness, the other aspect, the things that drive you nuts. So it's about shifting that focus. So I think that's what the Dharma can help, because when we do our practice, when we do our, we always talk about dedicating all sentient beings. We do that, but in real life, we forget that we wish kindness on all beings, including our spouse, including our annoying husband, annoying boyfriend, annoying girlfriend. You have to include them also, right? So when you include them in prayer, we also in life also we have to act it out, as in when they annoy us, we have to be more patient. So that's how I think we can incorporate the Dharma into this. Anyone else can, carry on from here if it's okay. So what do you guys think? Our lovely Stella Lam. Stella Lam seems very amused by what I just said. So with Stella, it's funny because Stella Lam is just the other side.
Actually, talking about being kind to all sentient beings, is theoretically maybe it's easy to say. When it comes to those person that close to you, like your partner, even though your colleagues or your parents or your sibling, so normally we will show our real emotion, especially a negative one. We will throw a tantrum to our partners or our good friends instead. But to some stranger or not so close people, sometimes we tend to be kind, and then people say, "Oh, this Stella or this one is very kind to the colleague or to who," but actually, at home, you will show your the real you, and actually it's kind of not wise when you give the not so good thing, not the best thing to those close to you, and when you are in difficult times and they support you, or they were there for you, or they are always there for you. But when you are not in so good mood, and then you will be moody, and then you throw a tantrum to those close to you. Normally, it's always like that. Actually, it's not. It shouldn't be that way, Jerry. But we always tend to do that.
So we have to
including
practice
me.
more patience, right? We have to practice more patience. We're a bit more guilty, like if we have no Dharma, we'll be like whatever, this person is annoying. This husband is annoying. This wife is always nagging. I can't stand her nagging anymore. So I think there's nothing to no incentive to be more patient. No practice in a sense that we don't pray for it. We don't think about it. It doesn't even enter our mind. It's just that what we feel is what we act out. Sometimes when we have Dharma, at least when we feel this emotion, okay, I can't do that because although this person annoys me to death, there's some kind of restraint. So there's kind of some, like what would you say, a battle. Okay. Yeah. Good morning to the new people who just joined us. Celeste, Doreen, and we have a Ben, Ada Tering, Tashi Dele.
Another angle that we can actually, or rather my 2 cents of actually looking at it, is that we're talking also about concentrating on the needs of others, because when you're backtrack a bit. Generally, Buddhism teaches that the best way to be happy is for you to love and care for others. So that's on a general note. Now, putting into perspective of romantic relationship and all that, but when you make a conscious decision, right, to focus on the need of your partners, that in a way forces you to practice or act in a way where you are eliminating the causes for you to be unhappy. Like, for example, you basically focus on the feelings of others, so you're not really focusing on how you actually feel. I mean, customary in a romantic relationship is always a situation where, I love you and I want you to make me happy, as opposed to in Buddhism, where we talk about love in general. It is, or when we say it's genuine true love, it is, I love you, but I want you to be happy. And if I am in the picture, it's good. If I'm not in the picture, it's fine, so long as you're happy. So the prioritization is more on the other person as opposed to your own needs and your own wants. So you're not, so then you become the so-called support system for your partner, as opposed to, I guess it's like I remember having this conversation with someone, and they said that, why that relationship worked for their self and their marriage lasted longer was a simple case of, like, it is the small things that you could have a great day at work, and then you come home and then you see your partner, and your partner has like the worst day of their life. Okay, so as opposed to you going on about, I have like a great day, this is what happened, I'm so happy, whatever, right? You don't focus on the fact that you're happy. You focus on the fact that the person is not happy, so you be there for them regardless that you're jumping with joy. You got a promotion, you're like really, really happy about it, but you still take into account that now's not the best time for you to go and brag about yourself or be happy or whatever it is. Your partner is sad, your partner needs you, therefore you focus and you just sit there and listen to the gripes of your partner. So in that context, you basically concentrate on the needs of the other person. So from a Dharma perspective, when you concentrate on the needs of others, right, it is a powerful method to identify or dissolve whatever projections that you have about yourself and about the other person. Because you're not really focusing on yourself anymore, you're actually focusing out. I mean, that's not too far-fetched to draw the analogy from. Okay, everybody's quiet. Like, do you even understand?
No. You said draw the analogy from?
The fact that you focus out all the time. So remember, say that you always focus out, you always focus out, you don't focus in. So that's like in this romantic concept, when you extrapolate on that, you're focusing out, you're focusing on the needs of your partners as opposed to need of yourself. So in that sense, Dharma. So
yeah, I mean at the beginning, it does help. Okay, we have another question. Oh, wait. Pass it around. What do you think? Before we go on to Doreen's next question.
He's lost.
No, I'm not lost. We could just go on to Doreen's next question.
All right. Doreen says, does attraction of outer beauty more important or inner beauty? This is a debate I had with my friends, by the way, my non-Dharmic friends. No, I'm not. I'm waiting because I'm giving the honor to our pastor. Sorry, I'm very casual. So this is very
okay.
simple.
Well, obviously, from a Dharma perspective, it's going to be the inner beauty, and by inner beauty, from a Dharma perspective, means spiritual beauty. So the positive qualities that we have. So I think everybody knows when they're looking for a partner, yes, physical attraction is extremely important, but another thing that is important is, in my view, in a dharmic term, is more important is the inner beauty, the spiritual beauty, the good qualities that that person has. So I think if you're coming at it from a purely Dharma perspective, then it is obviously the inner beauty. But the fact remains that we are still in samsara. And because we are still in samsara, we're still going to have some form of attachment towards outer beauty. So I think more practically speaking, when you are first looking for a partner, or you are thinking about the qualities that attracts you to your partner, obviously physical beauty or outer appearance is going to play a part of it. But you should, from a dharmic perspective, you should concentrate less on that and obviously more on inner beauty if you can. Yeah.
Okay, this is a very interesting question, I think. Oh, I just discovered this function. Now I can post all these comments down there and you can see on the screen. Anyway, I was going to say this because I have discussions with my friends, and it really depends because, you know what's interesting? Scientifically speaking, men are more driven physically, as in from appearance. Women are more driven inner, apparently, from the inner, as in they look at a man for its qualities. Its man's qualities. So that is one aspect that I find interesting, according to science lah. Okay, more visually driven. One is more driven. One is more emotionally driven. So it's about feelings. It's about your inner beauty. You know, for women. So on the other hand, it also depends on the background you're from, because some families, some upbringing, some people they're brought up in a family that that prizes physical appearance. Okay, the way it's phrased is really weird, but I mean they put in emphasis on it. Okay, some people develop it over time. Because of I don't know, because of, you know, they were brought up in a difficult situation, and so money and appearance is very important. So it really depends to the person. But in the Dharma, if you speak of it from a worldly perspective, generally most people would say inner, but realistically, people say inner, but actually what they go for is outer. That's what I think. People always say, oh, because inner, nobody is going to say outer beauty except one of my friends who is very direct. But anyway, nobody will say, oh, outer beauty is more important. Nobody. But everybody would pursue it more than inner beauty, unfortunately. That's the way it is, because we tend to be like that because, you know, firstly we want to look good. It doesn't sound too good, you know, when you say, oh, outer beauty is more important than inner beauty. But reality is the opposite. Why is it the opposite? It's because, you know, that when you look in the world, in the movies we watch, you look at the magazines we read, we look at the entertainment, like the movie stars, you look at the way we talk, we present, most people, it's about looking good, it's about appearing good, it's about feeling good. So it's always more outer than inner. So, but in the Dharma, it's the other way around. Okay, Dharma tells you you're wasting your. It's not that it's not good. It's not asking you to make a choice in Dharma. It's just telling you that it's a waste of time to focus so much energy. We are already focusing on it, you know, on our daily needs like washing, cleaning. It's already wasted into it, and some more you you are putting more energy because you're worried that you're going to get old. You're worried that you get wrinkled. You're worried that your hair is going white, or you're losing hair. You see, I'm losing hair. You're worried that you're balding. You're worried that that your clothes are not doesn't match up to your relatives, because they will look at it. Oh, why no money this year, is it? Competition, comparison, cars, competition with husbands, husbands and wives. Oh my, some husband like to show off their wife because they're trophy wife lah, because they're beautiful. Some wife like to show, oh, my husband just did this business deal. It's like that. So unfortunately, all these things are a reality, and what we need to balance is with the Dharma, because we realize that all these competition, all this focus on the outer beauty makes us unhappy. It's not very skillful. It makes us unhappy. It's not real, because there'll be always another friend. There was always another relative, that we can compare to, that will be better, that will be more beautiful, that will be richer, that will be, have all the nice things. Definitely there'll be someone who's better. So, and we keep this competition, and it will never end. And once it never ends, never mind, we always feel something is not right. They're always dissatisfied. That's the main thing in Buddhism. That's one of the aspects of suffering, which is always, the feeling of dissatisfaction. And when you're always dissatisfied and you keep striving, you keep trying to do to improve, but it never ends. Okay, there's a comment here that's interesting. Alex says, but in actual fact, we always be biased regardless of outer or inner. So which one, Alex? Which one are you referring to? Bias? Oh, you're asking, it's a question, is it? You're asking bias in terms of outer, inner. Your question is not very clear.
No, I think what Alex means is that even if you go for outer beauty or you go for inner beauty,
yes,
you will still be biased. As in, I think it means like from. It will never be completely about the other person.
Oh, I see. Not necessarily. I mean, in a sense that conventionally, okay, we're not talking of Dharma in terms of attachment, or we're talking of a person. Usually when you go for a person's inner beauty, it means we're looking for someone who is kind. We're looking for someone who is nice, who is kind to other people, who is generous, who is not argumentative, who is giving, who is gentle, So I think if you're looking for that person, it's for that person. If the person is nice, of course, then it's okay. I mean, generally, when it comes to relationships and all that, right? It's still you have to be biased in the sense that you prefer someone who's like that. Because some people don't care. Some people, it's just the physical appearance, because they're just looking for someone who is, good looking, beautiful, slim, has money. That's outer beauty, right? So then it doesn't matter whether the person's character is nice or not nice. Then you favor people like that. Okay, we have a lot of comments. Obviously, this struck a nerve with a lot of people. Okay, let me go to the next. This was Alex. Okay, I changed this for a while. You guys have anything else to say about this? Before we switch to, we go to the next comment and slash questions. No? Okay, then let's go next one. Okay, Doreen's question. What is your advice to partners or spouse that is considering breaking up? Go ahead. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. Sorry. I know it's not that funny, but sorry. Well, it depends how much you want. It depends what's the situation like. Okay, Rinpoche, let me tell you from. Okay, before we go to Rinpoche's point, maybe you guys want to share first about your advice to someone who's breaking up. passing around? I'm sure you came across a few.
I think when you have partners that are thinking of breaking up, there are more things to consider than just the two people themselves. For example, if they've been married for a while, they may have children. So you also need to think about the children also will come into the equation. About the considerations that these people need to make. I think one of the things that Rinpoche has. Okay, I'll leave the Rinpoche part to Pastor David to explain. But I think from my perspective, I think it would be better if a couple or that are considering separating, if they actually sit down and think about what actually attracted them to the other person in the first place, whether it was purely physical or whether it was actually about the person's qualities, and remind themselves about the person's qualities that attracted them. If that is something that kind of still is attractive to them and is good for them, then they should actually try to keep working at the relationship and try to make it work. I mean, one of the things that Rinpoche did and Pastor David did was come out with this book, which obviously goes through, because they're based on the vows that Rinpoche wrote. If you follow them and you actually work through them, it actually will help to heal the relationship if it's meant to be healed, and actually strengthen it. That's on one side of it, but on the other side of it, obviously there are certain situations where it won't last. The couple don't get along with each other anymore, and it would probably be best for both people in the relationship to actually go their separate ways. So that's just my take on it.
Ooh. You the names disappear. Stella. Oh, sorry, this way. Stella?
Actually, yeah, I agree with Pastor Nira that both of them should sit down and then think about initially why they get together and decided to have a relationship and or married. It will be it will be complicated when you have children, and normally marriage is not between two persons. Actually, you have family with both of your family as well. Of course, actually last week we did talk about marriage and okay. Okay, wait.
You trying to recall last week, is it?
Yeah. Okay, yes. Maybe in older times, our grandparents, we do not have much option, or in the old days, people might have a really negative opinion about
separating.
Yeah, separating. Of course, if these two persons can be together and they consider about their children, especially their children are still young, it would be better have a so-called complete family. But a complete family, it doesn't mean that the husband and wife or the two person are together with the children, stay in the same house and then or doing activities and together. That is quite if they are together but their heart are not together, means that they don't feel for each others, and then they might even the partners quarrel a lot in front or behind their children. Actually, children can feel that the emotion of the parents, especially when the children are very close to the parents, they can feel it. Actually, the negative influence might be, or the hurt might be more harmful than they separate. And then maybe they separate and then they can talk better, they can communicate better. It's not a bad thing also. But of course, this is not an advice that advise people to just break up. But people might consider sometimes we just do not want to stay in the marriage that is, it look complete, but emotionally everybody's suffer. Especially you will have negative influence towards your children. Actually, I have many friends that when their relationship with their partner, when they grow up, not so good, they do not know how to communicate, or do not know how to communicate with their partners. Normally the influence, not all most of the influence are actually from the parents. Normally we learn how to get along with our partners. Actually, we learn it most of the time from our parents. We use the model that our parents, how they get along, and then we shift or together, and then to use the model and then the example that we learn since young and get along with our partners. Actually, it will have a quite negative influence from my experience and observation with my friends. Then when they suffer this kind of their parents does not have so good relationship, so they will learn from that, and without their knowing, actually the negative influence will move from the first family, their own parents' family, to their family. So I think in conclusion is, if of course, don't give up so easily. If you cannot get along with your partner, first partner, A partner, say okay, we break up, and you never deal with it, and you go to the second partner, actually the problem might just repeat. So most of the time, it's not people's problem, it's either both of you's problem or your own problem. So the same issue will move from one relationship to another. So actually you can't solve the issue. But if already both of them cannot get together, I think it's maybe break up in harmony, they break up, and then maybe it's much better for the both of them and the children as well. That's my opinion.
Thank you very much. That was lengthy and experience or thoughts about it. Would Lisha?
What's my advice to partners and spouses considering breakup?
Wrong angle. This angle. We do have.
Okay.
We will call it a day.
I guess the most practical thing. Sorry. As to my advice for partners or spouses considering breakup, well, my 2 cents is that the first thing that you need to do is to really have an honest conversation with yourself to determine whether those are real issues in the relationship or what I would term as projected issues in a relationship. What I meant by real issues is if that relationship is problematic in a sense that there is harm involved, say maybe domestic violence, where things are very serious stuff and has grave repercussions, then you do need to look into whether that particular harm relates only to you and whether it impacts, your kids and all that. And what I meant by then, projected problems would be, say, the issue arises because you feel that your needs are not satisfied, or you are not happy about what the other person that has done that could have just been something that wouldn't bother someone else. Like maybe you are upset that he forgot your birthday, or you're upset that he didn't do something for you. So basically, projected issues are more of like things that you expect the partner to do for you to make you happy. So then that would be what I term as a projected problems. Now, if it's projected problems, then you seriously need to then further think about whether, why you have those issues with that particular problem, and also look back to what Pastor Nirol has said as well, reflect on the relationship that you have with your other partners and the qualities and all that, and whether there is whatever that attracted you before, if it's still there, and then the thought process will then bring you to whether or not you feel that you have done whatever that is necessary to salvage this problem, and if you would have no regrets if you do break up and not make this decision emotionally. So that would be my advice, because if you actually think through it, cutting out all the emotions, to a certain extent, you would then realize whether the breakup is something that you really want, or it's just something that you are reacting because of what you feel, or what you feel and what you want to achieve for the breakup.
Thank you. Generally, Rinpoche's view is more towards Pastor Nirol. What he had just said earlier, just in a quick nutshell, okay? Rinpoche's idea about relationship is to bring people always together. So when a couple is about to separate, so what happened is what Rinpoche does is exactly what Pastor Nirol said, which is to ask the couple to think about why they got into the relationship in the first place. To think about that and see if it made a difference for either side, and also to request them to try to work it out if it's like a recent thing or it's been a while. It's been not very long, to try to work it out, and to focus on the good qualities. Because everybody, wherever you go, whatever person you meet in the future to be a partner, to be a husband to your wife, to your boyfriend and girlfriend, will have their faults. There's no such thing as a perfect husband, perfect wife, perfect boyfriend, perfect girlfriend. There's no such thing. It's only in a realm of the movies. And so this is what Rinpoche, from what I heard, this is what Rinpoche had given advice to people before. And but there are situations where it is better to separate, and that decision is to be handled by the couple themselves, and especially when there's some sort of abuse involved. Of course, when there's some sort of uncontrollable abuse, then it would be better to, and even then Rinpoche will not say it directly, and Rinpoche would say it in a roundabout way, and to empower oneself to take charge of the relationship. Something like that, I remember Rinpoche said. Rinpoche will never say, oh, you have to divorce. Never. He will never say that. Never say separate from your boyfriend. Never say separate from your girlfriend. Rinpoche will never give that kind of advice. I've never, of the years I've heard, not that I've heard every single advice Rinpoche gave, but majority of them I do from time to time hear about it. And Rinpoche always encourage them first to work it out. And sometimes over time it doesn't work, or if there's an abuse, then it's a different like what Cindy brought up was very true. There's sometimes a situation where there's an abuse in a relationship, whether it's abuse to the person or to the children. Sometimes there is children involved. Then that's another thing. But let's not talk about that. That's a given. That's a given. So what more importantly, it's about working towards a better relationship. So it depends on the couple to work it out. Whether sometimes it's been tried many times over, and whatever angle one has chosen, has taken in order to make the relationship work, didn't work. So then it will be up to the partners to decide. But if we were to give an advice, it would be better to adopt Rimji's method, which is not to encourage people to separate or divorce, to leave the decision to them. Do not advise people to separate. I think we should follow that of Rimji, which I think it's a noble way, because you have to think of the other person also, the feelings of the other person. So it will be more to clarify what is happening and to see whether enough effort has been put towards the relationship. Then they make the decision themselves. So you don't put your input that you must divorce. You don't. I think that's what Rimji always does, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. And more importantly is to think of higher things. Rimji always said to practice the Dharma, to shift one's focus. Sometimes we worry too much, we think too much, we focus too much, we dwell too much. Sometimes we have a lot of time. We dwell too much on what's wrong in the relationship. So then it becomes magnified. So Rimji tells them better to focus on the Dharma and then let this thing sort out by itself. In a sense that sort it by itself, they're not telling you don't sort it out. It's sometimes we put too much focus on small things, on small problems. So I think let's carry on. We have a few comments and then we will call it a day. All right. We have let me see. Where was he? Alex says hi. It's a statement because in the context of relationship, if regardless of outer or inner beauty, it's supposed to be unconditional. However, as we have our own biasness, we can't really do that. Okay, I'll comment a little bit about this, and then we'll move on to the next. When there's romance, there's a lot of echo. When there's romance, there is always bias. So if you want to talk of unconditional love, there's in the movies, in the songs, no such thing. It's contradictory. It's contradictory, Unconditional always comes from great compassion of a Buddha, fully enlightened Buddha. So you will not have one person you love like that. You have to love all sentient beings, So if you have the thought of having one towards like that, it's just romance, it's language. Okay, let's move on. JC Go, competition non-stop. Keep indulgence in samsara distraction, wasted precious human life. Very dharmic, wonderful. Manting says hello. JC Go says, think of others more, life becomes easier. True, to a certain extent. Once you have a lot of people to think of, then also not so simple. But then we have a very long comment from Kristen. Kristen says this. That depends. It takes two persons willing to work on it together. If it's either one is toxic, better let it go after the other party tried hard enough. It will be more harmful for kids to stay in a family that is unhappy or negative. But of course, have to try hard enough first, and in a right way or wise way. Same time we are teaching our kids to handle or to cope or to make the right decision if in the future they may face issues like this. We can't let our kids to be victims in a toxic relationship. We can't. That's a very good comment from you. I think that's echoed in basically our collective discussion here, which is very true. And you brought up the word toxic relationship. That's interesting because it's interesting because there are relationships where it's toxic, where it's harmful in a subtle way. Subtle meaning sometimes you don't see it because we are so in love with this person, or we're so in love with the idea of being in a relationship or being in a marriage, or sometimes we are stuck because of our kids. So it becomes this partner who is not very nice, abusive, perhaps emotionally abusive. So that is a situation that can do occur in many relationships and marriages, unfortunately. And so some people hope that the Dharma if we practice the Dharma, things will be solved automatically. Not necessarily. Sometimes we can effect change in us, in our lives, but it doesn't necessarily change the other person. So if the abuse sometimes carries on, sometimes we did all our best, then one has to decide what to do. One has to be empowered to decide what's the best for both parties. Sometimes separation may not be a bad thing, but usually after a lot of effort, a lot of thought, a lot of thinking, working out. And unfortunately, that's just what it is. Relationship is like that. That's why Rinpoche tells us why you want to go into a relationship. As a lay person, Pastor Nara will, of course, not away. Why you want to get in a relationship? Because, that's what you're going to get. Whether it's successful or not, it will always come with a lot of heartache, tears, disappointment, and working out. Even in successful relationships, there will always be struggles. What's scary is if I've not heard of a relationship like this, but in theory, it might exist. That relationship has no issues. Yeah, a relationship that has no issues. I don't know if it's a relationship at all, but yeah, in theory, it's not like this. Okay, we go to the last one, Doreen. Reality relationship versus movie relationship is different. That's why people like Korean drama. Laugh out. Oh, it's just a simple comment. Okay, we don't really have to talk about. Any last words, you guys, before we call it the day? As in the panel here, you can comment any of the comments here. Up to you. Then we, a quick one. Any of you guys, pass it around. Sorry for putting you on the spot.
No, I just want to say that I think the questions we had today were good, but going back to the point of the chapter today, which is to be a support system for your partner or in your relationship, and I think that is something that makes a relationship last. It is something that you'll be surprised about how many people aren't actually a proper support system for their partner within their relationship. And it's one of the reasons why Rinpoche included it as one of the marriage vows that Rinpoche compiled, is to remind us that this is a relationship isn't like a Korean drama, like Doreen said. It isn't like you all of a sudden fall in love and then you're in this perfect relationship. It is something that you need to work on. Any relationship with anyone is something that you need to work on, but more so, especially if it is a romantic relationship, purely because you're going to be around each other for, in close proximity with each other for long periods of time. It's going to be the person that you're around the most. So obviously there are going to be issues that crop up from your side and from the side of the other person. But if you follow the vows that Sam Rinpoche compiled and from his suggestion about how to improve relationships, and you work on those, then your relationship will improve.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I think that's all for today. I have to correct you. Korean drama is not a perfect relationship. Usually it's like this. It starts off they meet the boy or the girl, the perfect boy, the perfect girl. Then they have a struggle getting and then they fall in love, and then they go through a struggle. Then only it ends happily ever after. It's still a little bit more realistic than just rosy. You obviously don't watch enough Korean dramas.
I don't know. Yeah, sorry.
Anyway, just kidding. So I hope this helps everybody out there, and it's an interesting discussion. Okay, we have a question. What if once out? Okay, I tell you what, Christine, I will save your question for next week. All right, we run out of time, but thank you very much. I will copy it and put it in my notes, and you can come on and make sure we answer your question. All right, thank you very much, everybody. Have a good weekend and stay safe. And oh yeah, do we have any sponsors? No, we don't, right? I didn't see. Okay, anyway, if you like, you can sponsor. You can go onto the description of this post, and you can click on sponsor, and it doesn't go into any of our pockets. Don't worry, it goes to the organization, and it is to help us to do more of these kind of sessions that helps people bring Dharma in a contemporary manner. In this case, through giving, we're talking about relationships. All right, thank you very much, everybody, and have a good weekend.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, everybody. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.